This is WVEC TV, Channel 13.
From Tidewater, Channel 13 presents...
This is the 6 o'clock report with Jim Kincaid and Alveda Ewell. Meteorologist Lynn Randolph with the weather and sports with Roger Cawthon.
Very pleasant good evening.
And now, the latest news from across Hampton Roads with Mike Lewis, Alveda Ewell, Dr. Dwayne Harding, and Roger Cawthon. This is 13 News Tonight.
Topping our report on this Tuesday night.
With Kathy Barnstorff, Joe Flanagan with weather, and sports with Scott Cash. This is 13 News Tonight.
And now, the latest news from across Hampton Roads with Joe Flanagan, Alveda Ewell, Dwayne Harding's forecast, and sports with Scott Cash. This is 13 News Tonight.
Police in Elizabeth City bust more than 24 alleged cocaine dealers. Good evening, everyone.
WVEC, working in the spirit of Hampton Roads. Now with Joe Flanagan, Alveda Ewell, Dwayne Harding, and Scott Cash. This is 13 News at 11.
Dramatic footage of an aircraft accident in Europe. Good evening.
Working in the spirit of Hampton Roads. WVEC presents 13 News at 11.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, this is 13 News Midday.
Kerry Charity learns his fate for raping 4 women in Virginia Beach. Good afternoon, I'm Sandra Parker.
And I'm John Miller. Thanks for joining us this midday.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, WVEC TV presents Jim Kincaid, Cynthia Lima, Velma Scape on the Peninsula, and Jeff Lawson. This is 13 News at 5:30.
Let's talk turkey. Hampton Roads serves up the Thanksgiving holiday with style.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, WVEC TV presents Jim Kincaid, Barbara Sierra, Jeff Lawson, and Scott Cash. This is 13 News at 6.
The federal government orders cable TV companies to cut their rates, but cable customers may not be getting the whole picture.
And a third Gloucester teenager pleads guilty to killing a girl's father and sister. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, WVEC TV presents Barbara Sierra, Terry Zorn, Jeff Lawson, and Scott Cash. This is 13 News at 11.
Parents traveled thousands of miles to try to help find their son, a member of the Coast Guard, missing for days.
WVEC TV presents Terry Zorn, Barbara Sierra, Jeff Lawson, and Scott Cash. This is 13 News at 11.
The waves are picking up, but many in Virginia Beach say they aren't afraid of Hurricane Felix.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, WVEC TV presents Regina Mobley, Mike Lewis, Karen Jones, and Brian Smith. This is 13 News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Regina Mobley.
And I'm Mike Lewis. Thank you for joining us tonight.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, WVEC TV presents Regina Mobley, Mike Lewis, and Karen Jones. This is 13 News at 11.
Interactive entertainment into interactive education.
Those stories just ahead. Stay with us.
WVEC presents Jim Kincaid, Cynthia Lima, Jeff Lawson, and Scott Cash. This is 13 News at 6.
They answered a routine call. Fire in an auto parts store. But today was anything but routine as 2 firefighters die in the line of duty.
Live from WVEC TV, this is 13 News at 11.
You can't skateboard on the boardwalk.
You're watching WVEC TV, Channel 13.
The trucks are loaded just in case the white stuff heads our way.
And the cameras are keeping a steady vigil. We'll tell you how the system works.
This is 13 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Zahn.
And I'm Regina Mobley.
You're watching WVEC TV, Channel 13.
Generations have learned the 3 R's here, but is Norfolk's oldest school ready to join the history books?
Local Air Force pilots will not get the flight time they want.
And Mother Nature came to the rescue today for anyone suffering from cabin fever.
This is 13 News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Mike Lewis. Terry has the night off.
And I'm Regina Mobley.
You're watching WVEC TV, Channel 13. This is 13 News at 11.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Zahn.
And I'm Regina Mobley. Thanks for joining us.
You're watching 13 News at 11 with Terry Zahn, Regina Mobley, SkyMax 13 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson, and Sports with Scott Cash. You're watching local news on cable.
Tonight, people in Florida want independence from the heat, the fires, and the destruction. We'll talk to local firefighters packing up for the trip to help fight those Florida wildfires.
And I'm Kun Nguyen, live at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Coming up, I'll tell you why this is one of the busiest weekends down here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Terry Zahn. Regina has the night off tonight. We'll have those stories in just a minute.
You're watching Pilot 13 News at 10 with Barbara Sierra, Mike Lewis, Rebecca Schramm, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson with your SkyMax 13 forecast.
Well, 1 year ago, our temperature on the 4th of July was 98 degrees.
You're watching WVEC TV, Channel 13. And now, LaSalle Blanks, Brittany Sutter, and SkyMax 13 meteorologist Craig Moeller. This is 13 News Daybreak.
Russia's prime minister flies to Yugoslavia to try and put a halt to NATO airstrikes.
This is 13 News Daybreak.
6 o'clock now on this Thursday morning. Good morning again to those of you who've been with us, and good morning if you're just joining us. We have a real treat today.
Most watched news in Hampton Roads continues right now.
Our big local story from the newsroom. The minister of a Newport News church has his day.
You're watching 13 News at 11. Live with David Allen, Regina Mobley. From the 13 News Weather Lab, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson. 13 Sports with Scott Cash. Right now, 13 News at 11 continues. 13 News Daybreak starts right now.
A convenience store murder that rocked the community now has ties to the death of a Virginia Beach police officer. The startling new details coming up.
You're watching 13 News Daybreak. Live with LaSalle Blanks, Janet Roach. From the 13 News Weather Lab, meteorologist Craig Moeller. 13 News Metro Traffic's Kristen Bishop. Plus, Joe Flanagan. Right now, 13 News Daybreak continues.
512, welcome back on this Friday.
13 News at 5:30 starts right now.
Our big story from the newsroom tonight. Could America have another sniper spree on its hands?
You're watching 13 News at 6. Live with Regina Mobley and David Allen. From the 13 News Weather Lab, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson. 13 News Sports with Scott Cash. Right now, 13 News at 6 continues. 13 News Weekend starts right now.
Strong storms move through Hampton roads overnight, flooding some streets and knocking out power.
You're watching 13 News Weekend. Live with Eric Turner. From the 13 News Weather Lab, meteorologist Julie Wilcox. 13 News Sports with Scott Cash. Right now, 13 News Weekend continues.
Tonight on 13 News, we're following two major stories unfolding right now in Hampton Roads. Breaking news in Norfolk, where 4 people are found dead at an apartment complex.
In the spirit of Hampton Roads, you're watching 13 News at 5. Live with Regina Mobley and Sandra Parker. From the 13 News Weather Lab, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson, Medical Editor Catherine Barrett. Right now, 13 News at 5 continues.
56 years in prison. That's the punishment for a man who caused a state trooper's death.
13 News at 6 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm David Allen.
And I'm Regina Mobley. Thanks for joining us. Let's get things started with a developing story in Virginia Beach tonight.
You're watching 13 News at 6. Live with Regina Mobley and David Allen. From the 13 News Weather Lab, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson. 13 News Sports with Scott Cash. Right now, 13 News at 6 continues.
We're back with our continuing 13 News investigation on the dog deception case in Suffolk.
13 News at 11 starts right now.
You're watching 13 News, the spirit of Hampton Roads. 13 News at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, millions of people are getting ready to ring in the new year. We'll have a look at the scene from Times Square and around the world.
13 News at 5 starts right now.
I knew I was dead.
She was shot 8 times.
They said I had 8 shots. 2 in the head.
And lived. Now the man responsible, her own husband, could be getting out of prison. I'm Sandra Parker. Tonight, why he could be getting out after only 3 years and what she's doing to make sure he remains behind bars.
From 13 News, the spirit of Hampton Roads. This is 13 News at 5. Live with Regina Mobley and Sandra Parker. From the 13 News Weather Lab, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson. Medical Editor Catherine Barrett.
You're watching 13 News, the spirit of Hampton Roads. 13 News at 6 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Parker in for Regina Mobley.
And I'm David Allen. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. And let's get things started right here in the 13 News Weather Lab.
You're watching 13 News, the spirit of Hampton Roads. 13 News at 11 starts right now.
Tonight on 13 News, a boater finds a body floating in the Willoughby Bay just a day after 2 fishermen went missing in the area.
From 13 News, the spirit of Hampton Roads. This is 13 News at 11. Live with Regina Mobley and David Allen. From the 13 News Weather Lab, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson. And 13 News Sports with Scott Cash.
The power of Cox Communications, the Virginian Pilot, and 13 News. Pilot 13 News Weekend starts right now.
An overnight shooting in Norfolk injures 2 people, and another shooting in Portsmouth injures another man. Both suspects are on the run this morning. As an update to an investigation into a Norfolk boarding house illegally housing people. And in Portsmouth, police need help finding the person who duct taped 3 dogs together. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on 13 News Weekend. I'm Sela Kim, and today's Saturday, May 20th.
13 News at 11 starts right now.
His reign of terror in Iraq is forever over. Saddam Hussein put to death today for crimes against humanity and saying farewell to a president. The nation remembers the life and service of our 38th president, Gerald Ford. Good Saturday evening, and thanks for joining us.
13 News at 11 starts right now.
New tonight, a mess on a motorcycle. A man is rushed to the ER after the crash. But the big story on 13 News tonight, the Riddick recall. Why the vice mayor won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wayne Carter. Vanessa has the night off.
13 News at noon starts right now.
Imagine being shot while you're sitting on your front porch. That's what happened overnight here in Norfolk. Right now, the search for the gunman. Good afternoon. Welcome to 13 News at Noon. Janet Roche has the day off.
You're watching the most watched news at 6. 13 News starts right now.
A pastor at the center of a lawsuit is no longer on the church's pulpit.
But first, SWAT teams working a hostage situation at an area McDonald's. The big story, breaking news this Monday night. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Wayne Carter, sitting in for David Allen.
13 News at 11 starts right now.
Tonight on 13 News, a small plane crash in Isle of Wight County has emergency crews working on a delicate operation.
13 News at 5 starts right now.
A small plane crashes. 2 men suspended upside down for hours. I'm Sandra Parker. Tonight, the investigation into what went wrong and insight into how pilots handle these situations.
13 News at 6 starts right now.
From NFL star to star in court, today's Super Bowl champ Dexter Reed appeared before a Chesapeake judge on illegal weapons charges.
And that is the big story this Monday night on 13 News at 6. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Regina Mobley.
And I'm David Allen. Chesapeake police arrested Reed last week.
Now available in digital widescreen. 13 News starts right now.
Police called to a school before the first class of the day. A teenager with a weapon causes a big scare.
You don't know whether it's about somebody getting picked on or upset or gangs.
I'm Sandra Parker.
And I'm Regina Mobley.
In digital widescreen. 13 News at 6 starts right now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The news.
In digital widescreen. 13 News at 11 starts right now.
A small but significant step, a possible twist in the fate of a Navy SEAL trainee convicted of murder. Good evening, everyone. I'm Regina Mobley.
And I'm
from your local news leader. This is 13 News at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. David is off tonight.
From your local news leader. This is 13 News at 11.
It was an unspeakable crime in a quiet neighborhood. A 91-year-old woman murdered in her own home.
Tonight, police say they have a suspect in the case. Their big question, where is he? It's Tuesday night and the big story on 13 News.
From your local news leader, this is 13 News at 11.
A traffic stop turned into a police pursuit and ended with a crash.
Live at 6, this is 13 News Now.
Right now at 6, an alert for beachgoers.
A warning tonight about a high threat of rip currents along part of the North Carolina.
Live at 11, this is 13 News Now.
Tonight, many people are sad, even devastated, after a woman and her daughter were found dead in a home in Norfolk. Neighbors telling 13 News Now that girl had special needs.
Live at Daybreak, this is 13 News Now.
The whole top of the camper ripped off.
Families took cover as a deadly tornado slammed into the eastern shore.
2 people are dead, dozens are hurt, and even more are displaced.
We'll go live to the eastern shore with a look at the aftermath for you coming up.
Live at noon, this is 13 News Now.
And off the top, one small victory for those in and around this 12-foot deep, 35-foot wide hole that has been the center of big problems for a Norfolk neighborhood. It was caused by a water main break that sent water into nearby homes. Thank you for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
And I'm Lucy Bustamante.
Live at 5:30, this is 13 News Now.
Another Portsmouth city leader is saying goodbye.
Live at 11. This is 13 News Now.
Police are looking for the suspects who robbed a local college professor.
Don't rule out murder charges. The word from prosecutors as they look into a warehouse fire in California that killed dozens of people. A person walks into a church preschool and allegedly steals the master key to the building. Tonight, a local sheriff's office is trying to figure out who he is so they can get the key back.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
A family in Chesapeake talks to 13 News Now about being featured in tonight's episode of The Great Christmas Light Fight, calling it a gratifying experience. The news starts now.
Live at 11, this is 13 News Now.
And that family in Chesapeake hoped to win $50,000 thanks to its extreme holiday decorating.
extremely cold the night before Thanksgiving in Ocean View, and many people who live here at the Royal Mix Apartments have put their Thanksgiving plans on hold.
Some local families have no heat and they can't cook, but they're trying to remain optimistic for the holidays.
A scary situation for students caught in the crossfire of a gunfight.
2 men shot in broad daylight in Virginia Beach, and a group of middle school students witnessed the whole thing. Hear from them coming up.
You may be surprised to hear who those students say ignored their cries for help.
A Thanksgiving feast that's free for local service members who are far away from home.
If they don't have anyone to be with, then it can also basically show, hey, you're loved.
Where active duty military are invited to pull up a chair.
Start of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend turned very dangerous for some middle school students in Virginia Beach.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. The roads get a break from holiday traffic today, but we are right back at it tomorrow. So we're going to tell you what you can expect on this busy weekend.
And you might be watching some football today, and pretty soon you could be able to put some money on those games. See the latest plans from Richmond. Don't forget to set those fantasy football lineups today.
79 degrees. That is the number to beat. The last time Hampton Roads reached 79 degrees on February 21st, it was back in 2014. Well, at last check today, we were at 77 degrees. Thanks for joining us on this warm Wednesday. I'm Regina Mobley.
And I'm Janet Roach.
From the south side to the peninsula, we're all over Black Friday shopping, giving you a look at the crowds this year. A turkey trot turned deer trot.
It turned me around, my knees hit the ground, and I broke my fall with my head.
This woman's wild run-in with a deer. And our Robert Boyd takes a spin around the new ice rink in Virginia Beach. You're going to want to see how he does. Starting tonight with these views, you're looking live at our Skyview cameras in City Center of Newport News and over downtown Norfolk, all lit up for the holidays. Thanks for joining us this Friday night. I'm Philip Townsend. David has the night off.
This is WVEC, working in the spirit of Hampton Roads.